In this video, I'll give you running back values that can be found in different parts of your fantasy football drafts. I'm Jim Coventry of Rotowire. Hey, Derrick Henry, running back 10 in average drafts the last couple days per Fantasy Mojo ADP, their high stakes ADP, my go-to. That ADP is very favorable. Now, look, Derrick Henry is not the same running back maybe he was a few years ago. In 2019, 2020, Henry was averaging 5.3 yards per carry. It's a full yard lower the last 3 seasons. But there's some extenuating circumstances here. That Tennessee offensive line got significantly worse. The quarterback play and receiver room were not very threatening to opposing defenses. And Derrick Henry, we know this. He needs a head of steam because if he gets hit at the moment he gets the ball, he doesn't get to use that great power as an asset. And that was happening way too often with the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry last year, he was still producing at an elite level. 86th percentile broken tackle rate, 77th percentile yards after contact. Those numbers are dynamic. Henry has scored double-digit touchdowns in 6 straight years. The only time he didn't hit 12 in the last 6 years, 2021. He scored 10 in a season. He broke his foot and missed 8 games. And speaking of durability, that was the only significant time Henry's missed in his entire career. He almost plays every single game. Otherwise, last few years, he has been an Iron Man, and we expect that to continue. Yes, Henry's going to be 30 this year. But you know what? I've written him off too many times. Derrick Henry comes along, and he is that player that we have to say, until we see real decline, we can't buy into it. Now, Henry had 280 carries last year. That was despite Najee Spears often outsnapping Henry. Let's get to the Ravens part. Yes, they lost 3 offensive linemen in the offseason. I get it. Turnover on the line is not good. The big benefit for Henry, Lamar Jackson. We talk about this all the time. Lamar Jackson is that phenomenal RPO quarterback. When he makes the move with the ball, the linebackers have to be on their heels because is the ball going to Henry? Is Lamar tucking it and keeping it? Is Lamar going to throw over the top? The linebackers are in constant conflict. What does that mean for Henry? We said earlier, he's got to get a head of steam to be at his best. He's going to have that head of steam in Baltimore, even if the offensive line isn't great. Derrick Henry is going to be money this year, and I don't see the signs of aging that make me worry about him right now. All right, next, Najee Harris coming in at running back 24 in average drafts. Now, look, Harris in a split backfield. We understand it. Looks like Jaylen Warren's hamstring's not as bad as previously reported. Warren should be around early in the season. It's going to be a split backfield, like I said a moment ago. Don't sweat this. Najee Harris, I know it wasn't much. 4.1 yards per carry was a career high for him last year. Here are the better numbers for Najee Harris. 85th percentile broken tackle rate. 88th percentile yards after contact, and he's an inside physical back. Yes, we do not see Najee Harris break off long runs. That's not the type of back he is. Yes, can Jaylen Warren do that? Of course, he can break off long runs. But grinding out and being a power back in Arthur Smith's new offense is a very important trait to have. I know Atlanta last year didn't really do well in their running game. We saw the coaching staff not making the best decisions. Arthur Smith did not optimize his players. It was a big problem. Now moving to Pittsburgh. They invested in their offensive line, bringing in high draft picks. They bring back a couple returning good linemen. They're going to play up to 80% heavy personnel like Arthur Smith likes it. They're going to want the power running game. And Najee Harris, who looks like to be playing for a new contract in the future years, Najee Harris has a great chance of easily beating his ADP. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the Rotowire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings by getting a free 2-day trial. No credit card needed. Just head on over to rotowire.com/Jim and you can check out all of our content. All right, Javonte Williams has been on my rising board over the last few weeks. Recent ADP as Javonte Williams as the running back 25. He was in the 30s a month ago. What's changed? First of all, Javonte Williams, if you remember back to his rookie year, 2021, 203 carries, 903 yards. Also, 316 yards as a receiver. Javonte Williams knows how to create missed tackles. Outstanding at that. Last year, Williams was still recovering from the 2022 ACL injury. He did not look like the same player. It's been very apparent throughout training camp. Williams looks like that guy. Williams is a 220-pound back, durable. I know he tore his ACL, I get that, but he can handle a lot of volume. I know Jaleel McLaughlin's in the mix. I know Audric Estime's in the mix. Sean Payton has a situation here. They invested heavily in the run-blocking offensive line last year. Bo Nix is their quarterback, and we're going to expect a dink-and-dunk offense. But we know this is going to be a run-centric offense. And I'm not saying this is the same deal, but Sean Payton, years ago, had a backfield where Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram were both startable every single week in fantasy. Javonte Williams, with his size, ability, and recovery from injury, he should have the lion's share of the work. Yes, the other backs will be involved. There's enough to go around for more. And Javonte Williams, if he looks like that player he did in his rookie year, behind this current offensive line with extra tight ends often on the field, with Sean Payton coaching it up, Williams as a receiver, Williams as a runner, he could be a devastating fantasy factor that blows away his ADP. Finally, Blake Corum of the Los Angeles Rams going around running back 37, again, per Fantasy Mojo ADP last 2 days. So Blake Corum was selected with the 83rd pick in this year's NFL draft. And we know he's in a backfield with Kyren Williams. And this is where it begins. Kyren Williams, you got to talk about him first. As a rookie 2 years ago, Kyren Williams missed the first 7 games of the season. And then Sean McVay is really trying to make Kyren Williams a thing. Kyren Williams was simply not good as a rookie 2 years ago. Now, last year, Sean McVay, the genius himself, figured everything out. He figured out how to make Puka Nacua Superman. He figured out how to make Demarcus Robinson a thing once he started putting him in the lineup week 11 or so. Every week he was fantasy useful. And we saw Kyren Williams, almost 100 scrimmage yards and 1 touchdown per game. Why? Well, I'll speak about the running game. Sean McVay understood the league using his light boxes were getting better at shooting gaps and beating outside zone runs. Sean McVay's like, you know what? We're running downhill. It's called duo. We're going right at them before they can engage. Worked like a charm. Kyren Williams looked like a superstar. Now, Williams missed 5 games last year. Still talking about Williams here. Getting to Corum in a minute. He missed the 5 games. He also broke his hand, Kyren Williams did, in the NFC wildcard game. Of course, they lost, so he didn't miss time. Another injury. Corum comes in. Now, first of all, the durability of Kyren Williams has been very clearly displayed. I personally believe Williams' success was due to the scheme, because we saw when he didn't have that scheme as a rookie, he wasn't good. In my opinion, Corum is a more talented runner. Good speed for his compact frame. He has great lateral agility, great vision, effective in tight areas. This is going to be a player that steps in and contributes. Worst case scenario, again, Kyren Williams getting spelled because of the injury concerns. Corum comes into a split backfield and produces well. The best case scenario is Sean McVay says, we're better off keeping Kyren Williams very fresh and letting Corum be more the lead guy. Now, there's many scenarios in here, but again, at running back 37, you should at least have a weekly flex out of him and maybe more.